Good afternoon. Isn't it good to be together? Yes, I'm Penelope Williams. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm here with my team of yesteryear. Yeah, it's been 3 years since we've all been together here on the same stage. So please welcome Imra Kotan on percussion. Yeah, Imra. And Fuji Fujimoto on bass. And you're here, so just continue to enjoy your afternoon together. It's good to be together with you online as well. Welcome. Let's stay there. Yes. Come on now. It's summer. It's summertime. Yes, it is. Oh, that's interesting. We're good? We synced up? All right. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Did you know that was one of Kennedy Schultz's favorite songs? And we're here this morning, this afternoon, and I'm always thinking it's morning here. It's not. I'm still getting used to that. Just take a breath with me and know this beautiful music that you hear just is opening your heart and touching your lives, making this world a better place. This is the music of Karen Drucker. In the season of self-care that we have chosen to be together and know together that we can just relax together in community. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. Oh, and I'll hold myself like a newborn baby child. You got it? I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I'll hold myself like a newborn baby child. I'll be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I'll hold myself like a newborn baby child. One more time. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I'll hold myself like a newborn baby child. I'll be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. One more time. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I will only go as fast. I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I love myself like a newborn baby child. I will be easy on myself. Yeah. And I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. Again, I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I rock myself. And I rock myself like a newborn baby child. I love myself. And I love myself like a newborn baby child. Isn't that so beautiful? Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you again. We'll have to have them back because I skipped over a song. That's really a great song, but we'll do it again some other time. Open your mind, unfold your heart, relax your senses, feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. Take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Breathe every breath. without waiting, slowly unhinge. You ain't got a thing to fear, looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down, go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound.
Become centered and know there's only one power, one presence, one creator, and that presence is within. It's not something outside. It is always as close as my breath. It is near and dear. And as I just relax into this knowing, what I recognize is that it wants me to live in joy. It wants me to live in peace. It wants me to express in all the ways that I find that are beautiful. Because as I express myself, I express God. So I relax into that knowing and just feel that joy, that love, that peace that comes with knowing I'm enough, I'm perfect, I'm whole, I'm complete. And so I'm so grateful for having this peace of mind. I'm so grateful for this teaching that reminds me every day that all I have to do is just slip back into my breath, and I am. I'm so grateful for this center, for each and every one of you that brings me joy, brings me laughter, and lets me know that I'm all right. Just take a moment and breathe that in. And if you're in agreement with this affirmative prayer, then we can close together by saying, and so it is.
Love to find you, look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. Yeah, Tony. So lift up your voice, let it be heard. Tell me your story, tell it to me, don't leave out a word. I think I have been there too. I'm a seeker just like you. You ain't got a thing to fear, looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down, go deeper still until you come unwound. Amen. Unbound, yeah. So it is. Thank you, Reverend Tony.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Penelope, Emra, Fuji. Come on, look at the house band is back. Yeah. Good. Good afternoon. It is so good to see you. Welcome to Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. I'm David Alexander, spiritual director here. My pronouns are he and his. And I hope you've noticed that we are creating a spiritual experience. We've rubbed off all the edges of introductions and now this piece and now that piece and just smoothed it all together so it just flows into a meditative. So now when people ask you, do you go to church? I want you to say, well, it's kind of this thing, and it's in the afternoon. It's this jazzy, meditative, flowing, spiritual experience that you can't really describe. It's in a cool, amazing atmosphere. When it's hot outside and when it's cold outside, it's warm and accepting, and everybody's welcome, and there's food afterwards. And if you want to call that church, yeah, okay, it's church. Welcome to Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We're glad you're here today. Let's go ahead and do our affirmation. I'm talking today, wrapping up this self-care series, and excited to do so. So let's go ahead and bring up the affirmation. I'll read it, and then we will do it all together. I am here for a divine expression. My unique expression of love, generosity, and beauty is essential to the wholeness of God. Therefore, I joyfully behold all the good that moves through and as me. That's good. We're going to unpack what all of that means in the message today, but let's go ahead and take a breath. I'll repeat one section at a time, ask you to repeat it after me, and then we'll put it all together. I am here for divine expression. I am here for divine expression. My unique expression of love, generosity, and beauty is essential to the wholeness of God. Therefore, I joyfully behold all the good that moves through and as me. Take another deep breath, and let's put it all together now. I am here for divine expression. My unique expression of love, generosity, and beauty is essential to the wholeness of God. Therefore, I joyfully behold all of the good that moves through and as me. And so it is. Give yourselves a hand for being here today. Let's have a great day.
I knew all the answers, the way my life should go. And when I used to say my prayers, I would tell God so. It seems God wasn't listening. I thought God didn't care. Looking back, it's plain to see God was always there. 'Cause I prayed for strength, and I got pain that made me strong. I prayed for courage, and I got fear to overcome. 'Cause I prayed for faith, my empty heart brought me to my knees. I don't always get what I want, I get what I need. Amen. I'm not saying that it's easy, or that it doesn't hurt. When nothing seems to go my way, and nothing seems to work. But these days I'm getting better at going with the flow. Sometimes I'm accepting the answer to a prayer is no. 'Cause I prayed for strength, and I got pain that made me strong. I prayed for courage, and I got fear to overcome. When I prayed for faith, my empty heart brought me to my knees. I don't always get what I want, I get what I need. Every time I had a door slammed in my face. In time a better one was opened in its place. 'Cause I prayed for strength and I got pain that made me strong. I prayed for courage and I got fear to overcome. When I prayed for faith, my empty heart brought me to my knees. I don't always get what I want. I don't always get what I want. I get what I need. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Amen? Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. How about some more love for the house band? I saw that song you skipped, Chick Corea. We might have to make some time. I'm not sure that I'm going to let these folks go without you guys hearing some Chick Corea. Are you with me? Yeah, I think we might need to make some time for that. All right. I know they'll work it out on the side and let me know. I have people that'll tell me when I'm out of line. No, that's not allowed. All right. Are you awake? Yes. Are you available? Are you enough? Are you ready? Yes, you're ready. I love it. Ready. That's it. All right. We are wrapping up this self-care series today. We've been talking all month about how to take care of the body. Today we've got massage and pranic healing sessions available. I think most of it's all booked up, but Mally will let you know what's going on with all of the offerings afterwards. Food every week. We've got, self-care for the body there as the temple and community. All the ways that we've been talking about what it means to put ourselves first, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Last week we talked about the order of those things. What happens when we really identify that one thing. The one decision that we can make every day such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary. That one decision that we can make to anchor in to the God self that we are. And then continue to make that one decision for our physical well-being, for our friends and families, for our key relationships, for our finances, for all the other aspects of our life, and etc. Reverend Jean Bell in the second week of the series talked wonderfully about grief and loss and how to balance and maneuver those emotions as part of self-care, as well as all those things that come in the human experience. I talked also about last week about how we often say in New Thought that we are a cell within the body of God, right? There's one power, there's one presence, there's one infinite energy, and we're all part of it, and we're like a point of expression. And often what we use when we're talking about that is this idea, this metaphor of being a cell within the body, right? But last week I kind of changed it up a little bit, and I said you're a nerve ending within the body. Meaning you are a portal through which joy and pleasure express themselves. Ooh, we had fun with that one, didn't we? If you missed it, you missed it. But it's online. You go back and get it. But we went there. Let me just say. It was a Father's Day not to be missed, all right? All right, so today we're continuing. The spiritual principle, as it has been all month, is self-care. The spiritual law today is the law of harmony. Ernest Holmes says that the first law of the universe is the law of harmony. Or as he said it, because he was from New England, harmony. Harmony was the first law of the universe. He said that everything orders itself around that law. What that means is, I've explained many times before, if I play two discordant notes on the piano, which if I did it, they would definitely be discordant, and it sounds off to our ears, we say those things don't match. But the law of harmony in the universe says that the frequency that it sounds disharmonious to our physical ear, within the inner ear and beyond our physical capacity to hear, those vibrations situations actually resolve themselves in harmony. They find balance with each other. So everything in the universe is designed around harmony. So all the things that are expressing as disharmony in their current state, in their current expression, in our current view, in our current judgment, eventually resolves itself in terms of harmony because God is all there is and is working it all out. Amen? So the spiritual law of the universe is harmony. Spiritual practice today is the practice of prayer. And so as we continue this series, we remember once again that as a human being, you are an individualized entity. We think of ourselves as individual. I like spiritually to say individualized because it implies that oneness. It implies that one thing that is happening. When we think of ourselves as individuals, we tend to think of ourselves as separate. There's you and there's me, and there's my stuff and your stuff, and my space and your space, and all of that. Remember MySpace? Anyway. It was a Gen X joke there. And so, but we're not so much individuals separate from each other because there's one breath, there's one atmosphere that we're all participating in, one ground that we're all on, one infinite intelligence in the universe that is expressing through us. And so we're all individualized centers within that one. Having unique experiences, no doubt. Having experiences that we call our own, having relationships that we call our own, having perspectives that we call our own. And then we group together with other people and we say, you and I have the same experience, don't we? Yeah, we have the same thoughts, the same feelings, the same spiritual perspective. We gather in this room, or we gather with people with the same identity around all kinds of things, right? From sexual identity to sports and everything in between, right? Politics, etc. But despite this, we are all that cell that forms the wholeness of the universe. We are all that nerve ending that is the portal through which the feeling of the wholeness of God is expressing itself. We are here to personalize the possibilities of the infinite. I want you to take that in. Where you are here to personalize the possibilities of the infinite. There's one power, one energy, one infinite intelligence in the universe. You are an individualized expression of that, and part of your purpose of being here is to personalize it. To be that, whether you want to go with the cell metaphor, or you want to go with the nerve ending metaphor, or the individualized expression, whatever works for you, you are that point through which it gets personalized. It becomes uniquely expressed as you. The infinite possibilities through you. You get to choose. It's kind of like, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, we had these wonderful series of books when I was in grade school, middle school, called Choose Your Own Adventure books. Anybody had the Choose Your Own? A few people. Okay, we got a few people that remember they didn't last long, but they were here for a minute. But, you got to the end of a chapter, and then you got to decide what happened to the character. And what was going to happen next in the story. And if you chose A, B, or C, then turn to this chapter or turn to that chapter, and the story would change. So you could read the same book 3 or 4 times and have different outcomes. It was very cool. But anyway, I'm just having a moment there. They don't have them anymore? Really? It went with MySpace. Yeah, you're now old. Yeah, I know. I'm well aware. My 6-year-old reminds me all the time. So, all of that is to say, either way, we are here to personalize the possibilities of the infinite. That is, the higher self in you, that you are one with, is here to express as you. This knowledge, and more importantly, this conviction, to have a spiritual conviction of this idea, makes you endearing to all of your heart's desires. The things that you think are out of reach, the things that you think you want, the things that you think you're going for in life. It makes you endearing to those things because now, instead of them being separate from you, instead of them being out of reach from where you are, suddenly you are a portal through which the infinite intelligence is moving. You are a space through which the infinite mind of God is expressing itself, and therefore your desire, it's its desire. Its desire is your desire. There's There's nothing that you're separate from. There's just the actualization of the desire of God. Are you following what I'm saying? Yes. In simple terms, when you become aware that you are one with this Spirit, you have accepted the idea that you are a part of a universe, a single intelligence that is moving. As you begin to act and think from that powerful place, you begin to act and think as the powerful being that you are. You begin to manifest infinite possibilities that you have only imagined before, that you have dreamed of, that you have thought were far off, that were distant from you. Remembering your essence in spirit is the ultimate form of self-care, because everything else flows from that connection. Because if I'm not caring for my body, if I'm not caring for my mind, if I'm not caring for my mental state, emotional state, spiritual state, all of the aspects that make me me, then I cannot be, as I said in the first week, a fit instrument through which the divine moves. So my job is to be that fit instrument. So self-care becomes the most important thing I can do, to be that fit instrument that is available, that is unencumbered by the distraction and the noise and what Michael Beckwith would call the tyranny, the tyranny of trends, or the trance of scarcity, all of the drama and the drone and the stuff that is happening around us in our social conditioning. Because the truth is that this thing that we are all a part of, this sea of humanity, has been socially conditioned, has been conditioned to develop a series of behaviors and thoughts and ideas about ourselves, about each other, and about the world that ultimately break down to a pile of coping mechanisms, defense mechanisms, compulsive and addictive behaviors in response to a world that isn't working for us. Am I talking to anybody? Right? We have been socially conditioned to develop a series of coping mechanisms, defense mechanisms, and compulsive and addictive behaviors towards a world that isn't working for us. And somehow we think that life is about how to survive that game. What a terrible game to play. Right? But it's the thing that we're all wrapped up in. And next we get manipulated into thinking that if we behave a particular way, then we might get a free pass. We might get out of jail pass. We might get do not pass go, collect your $200. And if I just, am worthy enough. But here's the thing. You don't have to do anything to become worthy. You already are. You already are. And so participating in the game makes us think that we have to do something in order to become worthy. No. The real trick in the game is to anchor ourselves in the awareness that I already am worthy. That's why we say, I'm enough, right? I'm awake. I'm available. I'm enough. I know that I'm enough. There's nothing I need to add to myself. There's nothing I need to change. There's nothing I need to do. Just by virtue of my existence, because my existence is proof that God had need of a cell called me, right? With my perspective and my experiences and my orientation and my everything, right? Just the way that I am. And so we shift from the game of worthiness to anchoring ourselves in worthiness. And the question is, well, how do we do that? How do we do this self-care, what I call self-care for at-one-ment? Right? Self-care for at-one-ment. Self-care for the at-one awareness and consciousness that God is all that there is, and it's flowing in, through, and as my life. Would you like to know how to do self-care for at-one-ment? Good, because that's all I got today. Otherwise, we're going to listen. I'll bring up Chick Corea here in a minute. Say, well, they said no, so I... All right. Self-care for at-one-ment. Number one, affirm your oneness. Affirm your oneness. We've already been doing that. We've been doing that in a multitude of ways throughout our time this afternoon already. But it begins with this awareness that there's this universe, this unifying belief and this spiritual and physical reality, this concept that you realize that you are spirit itself, that spirit is in you and as you and is you, that there is a higher force moving through you. So no impossibility can hinder you. Nothing can stop you from achieving your goals because you are the intelligence of the universe itself. That you are made. So this is where we utilize affirmations and we say, I am made of God's stuff. All that I am is the intelligence of the universe. I anchor myself in that awareness. I complete. That's why today's affirmations talks about completing the wholeness of God. I love that concept. You complete the wholeness of God. Don't you love that? Go ahead, just tap yourself and just say, I complete the wholeness of God. Right? And look at your neighbor and say, you complete the wholeness of God. And look at somebody else across the room and you complete the wholeness of God. Right? And we all complete the wholeness of God. So that without either any one of us, the wholeness of God is not complete. There's something missing. And so what that does is psychologically, emotionally, and internally in our consciousness is it reinforces the idea, once again, that my physical presence is enough. My physical existence is the proof that says God had use of a being called me. Right? With my parents and my upbringing and my socialization and my schooling and all the things that came with it, God had need of, let's see what this looks like. Never quite done it this way before. How many people know, ain't nobody done it your way before, right? You chose an interesting path, right? You chose you're here today. I know you chose an interesting path, right? Because you're here with us today. And so we anchor ourselves in that awareness that God is all that there is. It's the most important thing that we can do. Because the moment we get separated from that idea, then all manner of doubts and disbelief and the drone of society begins to come in and take over our consciousness. And so as we're doing that awareness, as we're doing that cultivating of oneness through meditation, prayer, affirmations, all the tools that we would use, we have to then continue to remove all doubts. To remove all doubts, all of the things I like to call the yeah buts. The yeah buts come in, right? They say, I am one with God. I'm one with the infinite intelligence. Yeah, but, right? Yeah, but what about this? Yeah, but what about this thing your teacher told you when you were 5? Yeah, but what about the da-da-da? Yeah, but what about last week when you knew you were out of alignment? And yeah, but what about this morning? Yeah, but what about? Right? Okay. Get it? She's like, Allie's like, knock it off. I get it. Come on. Move on already, Rev. You've made your point. Yeah, but what about this next thing I got to say? Because here's the thing. We talk a lot, we shorthand a lot of deep spiritual principles in New Thought. And sometimes that shorthanding of deep spiritual principles can get us in a little bit of trouble because we shorthand it and say some things that begin to take on a simpler meaning than their true depth. And so if you're ever in class with me, I often use the metaphor of a swimming pool. Right? I like to say, so there's a swimming pool and then there's like you can choose where to get in. You can take the diving board and jump right in. You can jump off the edge. You can take the steps into the deeper water, or you can enter where it's just lapping at your feet. And the water's warm, it's not very cold. There might even be, if it's one of those cool playground type places, it's got some play equipment and the kids are playing, it's the kid end of the pool. And you can even just sit down and it's completely safe and you're fine, and right? And because it's not very deep, the sun has warmed the water, it's very comfortable. But as you keep moving, it gets deeper, the water gets cooler, and it requires more skill and more experience to be in that level of water. It's all the same water. It's all the same truth. It's all the same principle. But where you get in makes a difference. of what your experience is. And so sometimes we simplify deep teaching in our philosophy, and we enter in at the shallow end of the pool, which again is totally fine because it's warm, it's comfortable, it's easy. It's what we should do. But sometimes we stay there and we think that that's the whole pool, right? We don't realize that there's more to it than that. So we say things like, thoughts become things. We say things like our thoughts control our reality, and that's true. But if you're just at the shallow end of the pool, you may not realize the depth of what that means. And then you run into trouble because you think, well, here's an interesting metaphor. This is not in my notes, but it's just coming up from my awareness in this moment. On one level, we could say, well, there are some people who chose their experience because they chose to do something that put themselves in a particular kind of danger. We have some examples in the last couple of weeks of two of this. One, the 5 people, bless their souls, in the submarine, right? On the other hand, there were about 700 souls that were refugees on a ship that also drowned in the ocean, right? And there were no international 5 different countries sending out ships to try to, in fact, there was a captain who rescued several people and got put in jail for doing so, right? So you might say, well, we say thoughts are things, the thoughts control our reality. Those people create their reality, right? It's easy to see, well, if you paid $500,000 or $250,000 and you said yes and you signed a waiver, you created an experience that created your reality, right? But what about these souls over here, right? Anybody have this conflict before in this teaching? When we say thoughts, that our thoughts create our reality. So we've got to go deeper into the deeper waters of the pool here. Here's the thing. The deeper principle is that our thoughts control the personalization of the infinite. Now, that's not as sexy as saying thoughts create things or create your reality, but it is the deeper truth of the principle. So remember earlier in the sermon I said that you are here to personalize the possibilities of the infinite. You are a point of personalization of the infinite, right? And so your thoughts govern how that experience goes by filtering how you feel and what you see and what you experience in that, right? They do not create reality with a capital R, reality for somebody else, or reality for the world, or etc. However, because we are each co-creators of experience, and therefore everything that we do is feeding back into the whole system of all reality that everybody is experiencing. So today I'm participating in this and it's affecting your experience. The volunteers showed up and they're doing their thing, and there's people in the kitchen that cooked, and that's going to affect your experience. And if somebody didn't show up, it would have affected our experience a different way, right? So we create a pool of collective reality that is influenced by each of us and our individualized points. You with me so far? Right? So we continue to do that all of the time. But what our thoughts control is, as I step into this collective experience, how do I personalize it? So if I show up and I was like, you know what? They're doing this cool thing at church now, and I'm running behind today, and I know they're always serving dinner, so I'm not going to eat anything because I know they're going to feed me really well after church, right? Watch me get some volunteers for the kitchen here, right? Watch this, Melly. Watch me get some sign-ups, right? Don't worry, I'm going somewhere with it. She gets a little antsy sometimes, right? But so then I say, okay, so I come to church and I'm out there with you, and my belly's grumbling all through the sermon, but somebody didn't show up, and so there's just there's some cookies and some leftovers from last week, right? And I'm like, but wait a second, I came with a belly ready to be filled up with some good food today. Well, what happened? So while somebody else's choice influenced the collective experience, my thoughts still particularize or personalize my individual experience. I'm in this collective experience in which now, some food didn't show up and it didn't meet my expectation. You with me? However, how I choose to think about that is up to me. So I can say, oh my God, what did blah, 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 I can't believe it. Or I can just say, oh, well, that's the way it is. I guess I'll, go home and cook dinner. Or get something on the way, or go out with somebody from the church and say, hey, let's go get some, or whatever it is, right? I have many different options of how I react to that environment, because all of us participate in the collective, right? So as we are clarifying and removing all doubts, what we're doing is clarifying the place from which we are pouring in to the collective. You following what I'm saying? So when you start thinking like the powerful ultimate being that you are, you ensure that your thoughts match your belief. If your thoughts were centered around not being good enough or not meeting up to standards, right, it's imperative that we begin to identify and remove those thoughts so that you can begin to be a clear portal through which the infinite is moving. Doubt is detrimental to the infinite personalization. That's where the self-care comes in. Doubt, what it does is it blocks the channel. And so now the infinite wants to personalize through me, and it can't because I'm clouded up with my own doubt and fear and not worthiness and all the other stuff that's in the way, right? Now, at the same time, we don't make ourselves bad or wrong for thinking those thoughts. We just say, those are places to investigate. I wonder why. So here's the trick of how I've done it. Essentially, my whole experience in New Thought. This is what I learned very early age, and it's always worked beautifully. When I encounter, and it's a practice. It's not, perfect. I'm not perfect at it. I still have to practice. But when I encounter my own doubts, when I encounter my own fear, when I encounter my own inadequacies, then I simply invite myself to investigate it, to, sometimes I say, interrogate it, right? Which means not beat myself up for it, but to interrogate the thought and say, well, given that God is all that there is, right? Given, number one, given that I know that there's an infinite intelligence that's personalizing itself through me, given that it is the Father's good pleasure to give the kingdom, given that I know that all of this good is ready to flow through me, why is it that I would instead choose that? Why is it would I choose this thought that says I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough, I'm not da-da-da? What is that about? And you just ask the question, what is that about? And then listen. And it'll tell you what's it about. And then you can say, okay, thank you very much. Thank you for telling me what it's about. And actually, not necessary. We don't need you anymore. We're so sorry. Thank you for applying. We've gone with another candidate, right? You just fire them. Fire the thought, right? And move on to something else. All right. So as we affirm our oneness, as we remove all doubts, now the time is to understand, is to behold the divine. Now, if you're paying attention, you notice that these steps sound a lot like prayer, right? Number one, God is all there is. Number two, I am one with that. Number three, this is where we would speak our revelation, to speak our realization, and to speak our truth into it with our affirmations. I actually don't want you to do that here. Because sometimes what we do is we run too quick. Not anything with the formula of prayer that is wrong or bad. It's actually excellent. But here in this case, in terms of tuning into our at-one-ment, I want us to shift from filling the space. Notice your desire to fill the space with your demands. Okay, now that I know my oneness, now that I've removed all doubts, I want this, 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 and this, and I want it to look like this, and I want it to show up on Tuesday, and I want it to, right? Pause on that for just a bit. Pause on that. And because what happens is we end up fueling it with our expectation. And then what I've learned is that God has its own timing, right? It's not that my desire, the truest, highest desire of my good in my life is any different than the highest desire for God in my life, but sometimes we are on different clocks, right? And the metaphor is like this. It's like if I think this is a quote from Rumi that says, if God wanted you to be a master chess player, where would all the chess pieces on the table be at any given time? Except exactly where God wanted them for your development. right? But sometimes it doesn't feel that way. Sometimes we're playing chess and we're just like, I feel backed into a corner. Oh, I feel like my resources are limited. Oh, I'm feeling the pressure of this. Oh, I'm feeling the pressure of that, the timing, etc. Your bank account, your whatever it is, career, etc. I've been there. I've felt all of that. Some of it as early as last week, right? So I get it. I understand. And there's a beautiful, I meant to put it up today on the screen, but I don't have it. But there's an amazing painting called Checkmate. It's in the Louvre in wherever the Louvre is, in Paris, right? The art gallery. And it's this Renaissance painting of the devil and this other individual playing chess. And if you've seen it, the individual is kind of slumped like this and a bit depressed. And the devil is like this, and he's got kind of a smirk on his face, and it's called Checkmate. And there's an angel kind of looking over their chessboard. And there's a legend with the painting that says that one day this master chess player in the world was taking a tour of the Louvre, and he stopped and looked at it, and he was really taken by it. And the person explained, this is and the devil has got the angel or the archangel in checkmate, and that's why it's called Checkmate. And they moved on, and the whole tour moved on, and he stood there just staring at it and staring at it and staring at it. And finally they sent somebody back because they're like, we're missing somebody from our group. You know how the tours do. They stop and we have everybody, account, okay, everybody with us? Nope, that one guy's missing. Okay, so they went back to get him. And he said, there's a problem with this painting. I said, what do you mean there's a problem with the painting? It's a painting. He said, no, the painting's fine, but they need to change the name. And he said, what do you mean? He said, the king has one more move left. Right? And of course, Christians love that story. I've heard it in Christian churches all the time because they go off on that. The king's got one more. Hey, the king of your life. You can understand how it just jumps off in a Holy Ghost moment right there. Right? But the power of the story still works, right? That sometimes we feel like we're backed into a corner. And sometimes that comes because we have flooded the universe with our demands of how we want it to show up and what timing we want it to show up. And so instead, what I want you to do is slow down, affirm your oneness, remove all doubts, and then behold the divine. What I mean by this is, as the song said, behold, like hold yourself like the beauty of a child. Be like you would, when you behold a newborn child, you don't look at it and go, oh my goodness, yes, what's 10 times 12? Right? You don't place demands and expectations on the child. You just behold it. You just behold its beauty. You just behold its love. You just behold its joy. It's all of the things that it is for what it is as it is in its current state. And so when we begin to do this for ourselves and we can just behold the divine and just open your inner eyes to behold the beauty of the divine in you, the beauty of the divine in your partner, in your work, in the world, and everywhere that you go, so that you're building up the resources to see it everywhere. Then you become a candidate for the good to flow through your life, because now you're an open channel. You're not cluttering it with your own demands and expectations. You're becoming a space through which this posture of beholding, you're no longer riding life's rides on the ups and downs of the news and the drama of the day, the tyranny of trends, the trance of scarcity. You've tuned it all out, not because you're indifferent to those things, but as Michael Beck would say, it's because you have moved from real to real, right? From real, R-E-E-L, to R-E-A-L, capital R-E-A-L, to the real. You moved from the real of life and the drama and the regurgitation of all the stuff that's happening in the world to the real presence of the divine. You're beholding it, you're seeing it, you're sensing it, you're feeling it. And now, there is no possible way for anything less than the miracles to begin to flow, for the good, for the love, for the generosity to begin to show up in your life, so that all that your needs are met. Because you see, most people are not aware of their capacity nor their responsibility to personify the infinite. They spend their life amplifying the mundane, the ignorant, the scarcity, the petty. They've decided to become a caricature of this drone of doom. Right? They've decided that they have to play a role in that drama. But you and I said, no, we're going to slow things down a bit and just behold the divine. Invite myself to just see the good everywhere. And when I'm captured by it, overwhelmed by it, then it has no choice but to begin to flow in, through, and as me in miraculous and wonderful ways that, by the way, will meet and exceed, oh, hallelujah, all of your expectations. They will meet and exceed them, not because you're placing a demand on the law, but because you are being an open availability for the goodness of God to flow through. So self-care becomes, am I open enough? Am I available enough? Am I clutter-free enough for the miracle of the divine to flow through me? You and I understand that this is our task as spiritual beings. Then from that place you can begin to articulate, as you would in the third step of affirmative prayer, you can begin to articulate your realizations in the affirmative and the now, and do so with such conviction that it begins to show up. But the first step is to just behold it so that you see it everywhere. You understand? Then you begin to give thanks. You're just filled with gratitude and overwhelmed. And then just let it be. Just allow it to be the activity of your life, that everywhere that I go, the beholding of the divine is happening, such that miracles are occurring. The universe knows my needs before they're even spoken. There is love, there is generosity, there is joy. There are people who want to show up and help me meet the demands that I have in the universe, that want to support me, that want to be the good that I need, want to be the answer that I'm looking for, and I don't even know how to articulate the request yet. But because I'm beholding the divine, the universe has said, I'm coming, baby. I'm coming for you. I got good in store for you that you can't even imagine yet. And because you're so open and available to it, here it is. You follow what I'm saying? Yes. This is where Ernest Holmes understood. And so we repeat, just rinse and repeat with that on a daily basis. There's your spiritual activity. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Until you understand what Ernest Holmes said, we believe that the ultimate goal of life to be emancipated from discord of every nature. And that this goal is sure to be attained by all, to be a complete emancipation from discord of every nature. And that this goal is sure to be attained by all. But it begins by beholding the divine, connecting with that at one moment, removing all doubt and uncertainty from our atmosphere, beholding the divine until it flows through us, giving thanks for it, allowing it to be, and rinsing and repeating, so that we see that this freedom that we are experiencing, this joy, this generosity overflowing is meant for everyone. It is the liberating force that is meant to move over the planet. You begin to see that from this place there is enough food. You need to pay more attention. Didn't get that. Can you try again? She said, I'll try it again. One more time. Everybody's listening, right? But you begin to cultivate this space to such a deep degree that you begin to see that emancipated energy is the force that is meant to pervade the entire planet. You begin to realize that right now, as we sit, there's enough food, there's enough water, there's enough resource, there's enough financial good to flow through the planet such that no one lacks for anything. The only thing that's stopping it is go back to that second spot. Removing all doubts. The only thing that's stopping it is the perceptions that people have about how the world has to be and the demands and expectations that they're placing on it that say that it has to be like this and it has to be like that, but you can't do this and you got to have limits on this, and that people are responsible for their own thing, and so they got to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps even though we're all connected and we're all one. No, if we behold the divine, we'll see that there's enough for everything. All of your needs can be met. All of everybody's needs can be met. Everything can be fulfilled. Why? Because we are the place through which the divine energy of God is flowing. Are you following what I'm saying? Oh, let's just take a breath and move into prayer right there. Let's just take a breath and move into prayer right there. The divine presence, the divine goodness of God, filled and overflowing as our experience. Whatever need or expectation or thought of lack or limitation you may have walked in the door with today. I know I have mine. I have my places where I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. I'm not sure if this is enough. I'm not sure if this is going on, that's going on, or how I'm going to make this happen or that happen. I get overwhelmed with thoughts of inferiority or anxiety. To set all of that aside for a minute. Understand that I am at one with the divine intention of the universe. I'm a cell and an out picturing of the divine energy of God itself. And behold that beauty. Behold it in you, behold it in me, behold it in all of the life and the activity all around me. And in doing so, see the way in which it flows. See the way in which generosity is pressed down, overflowing everywhere that I look. And that includes me. And that includes you. Resources are pressed down, overflowing everywhere that you look. And that includes me. And that includes you. Divine connections and appointments and the right people, knowing the right people to make everything work, to excel to the next level. That is happening everywhere that we look. And that includes me. That includes you. And as we become available as a portal for this energy, injustice, scarcity, not enoughness, all of those things begin to dissipate from our experience, not because we've magically poofed them away, but because they're no longer being participated in. And the love and generosity is overtaking the atmosphere of our collective experience. And you and I are adding to it through our own actions and our own deeds. For all of this and so much more, I'm truly grateful and thankful in this moment, in this day, in this afternoon, in this amazing community. I know that we are an experience of this divine truth that I have spoken, as is every individual within the sound of my voice and every individual in the atmosphere of your consciousness. Oh, that includes a lot of people. And it moves across the planet and returns to us pressed down and overflowing. Grateful and thankful. And so it is. So I let it be. Peace and blessings. Now, woo! Love praying. Yes. We get to flow that prayer of love and generosity right into our blessing and offering. Our text to give is on the screen, 404-800-9467, slca.com/donations, the QR code, the boxes on your way out. If you've got cash or check, just drop it right in as you're headed down to the social hall. We're so grateful. The expansion of more bodies on the stage for music is because you continue to generously give. We can apply those resources in that direction. Amen? I want to bless them. I want to bless their great work. All the things that we do are because we continue to pour into this place and continue to make it a new and regenerating experience for all the people that are finding us online and in person. This thing is growing in such a beautiful and wonderful way. I'm so grateful, and it's because of your gifts. So hold those gifts in your hand, whatever form they're taking. If you've got it all set up online to automatically do it, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Most of us do have it set up that way. If we want to give an additional gift or just participate in the flow of generosity today, we can do that in any way that we choose as we affirm together our affirmation. I live in a universe of abundance as I freely and joyfully give. I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is. There's a lot of power in the room, and so it is. Amen, amen.
My gosh, let's give it to him again. Thank you, Fuji, Emron, Penelope. Oh, hello, all you beautiful portals. Just a second. It is such an honor to be here with you, and each and every one of you makes this a home for me, and I love you and thank you for that. Yes. My name is Mally Lapete, and I serve on the creative arts team here at SLCA. If this is your first time to SLCA, please raise your hand or let it be known that you're here, and we'll acknowledge you. Hello. A member of our welcome team would like to hand you a welcome card. Just take a moment to fill that out and return the additional card you receive to a welcome ambassador in the lobby right out by the front door. For those of you that want to know more about our center or how to become a member, please connect with a member of our welcome team after the service in the lobby or online. We have so many great opportunities to connect, grow, serve, and give at SLCA. For more information about today's announcements and other opportunities, take a moment to scan the QR code found on your monitor. Although all of our chair massage opportunities, what kind of place is this, have filled up, there are limited spots left for a chance to get a pranic healing session today in the sanctuary that's right here. Like myself, maybe some of you don't know what pranic healing is, or I myself got trained and certified as a pranic healer. It's beautiful, miraculous, and the pranic healers that are here will be glad to explain further to you how it can work for you. Game night is back, of course, next Friday, 6 p.m., June 30th. I'll be here. I'm going to bring some cupcakes, okay? I was going to say, let's roll the dice with our new space. Have you checked out our new thoughteducation.com website lately? Well, there are some wonderful and on-demand classes waiting for you there. Since it's Self-Care Month, why not treat yourself to Reverend Cynthia James's Self-Care Mastery course? We recently added a wonderful class offered by CSL practitioner Eugene Holden, where you can gain a deeper understanding of the creative power behind the science and art of prayer. I love prayer. I used to not say prayer at all, and now I love it. That's what this place does to you. So many things have been happening in our world that sometimes leave us with questions and scratching your head. Join us next Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. in room 217 as we continue the Self-Care for Peace and Justice workshop with Reverend Dr. David Alexander and licensed practitioner counselor and SLCA practitioner Tony Jenkins. If you're interested in serving on our welcome and hospitality teams or any of our other teams, we'd love to have you help us. Please see a member or myself in the lobby to find out more information after service. Will all practitioners please make yourself known in person and in the online chat at this time to be recognized? There you all are. Gorgeous, beautiful people. Thank you. We welcome each of you in need. We welcome each of you in need of prayer to remain in the room or reach out to a practitioner online for one-on-one prayer with a licensed practitioner. In-person practitioners will be sitting in chairs in the back of the sanctuary following the service today. Thank you for joining us this morning. You belong.
Thank you, Mally. Let's sing out. Come on. We envision a world who works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. As expressions of God, we see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings, as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. Once again, Erica Tan, Fujimoto. Join us for hospitality